The morning sun painted the sky orange and pink over the colony world. Daeho walked beside his mother through the old ruins. The boy was only 6 years old, but he loved exploring. His mother, Ji-woo, worked as a scientist for the colony. She studied alien things left behind by creatures who lived here long ago. The ruins were made of white stone that sparkled in the sunlight. Strange symbols covered the walls. No one could read them anymore. The people who made these buildings were gone. They left hundreds of years before humans arrived. Daeho ran ahead, his small feet kicking up dust. "Mom, look at this," he shouted. Ji-woo smiled and followed her son. He stood in front of a large doorway. The door was broken and lying on the ground. Inside, the room was dark and cool. "Can we go in?" Daeho asked. Ji-woo checked her scanner. "It's safe, but stay close to me." They walked into the temple together. Their flashlights cut through the darkness. The walls showed pictures of large creatures with wings and long tails. They looked like dragons from old Earth stories. In the center of the room sat something huge. It was an egg. The egg was as tall as Daeho. Its shell looked like crystal, clear and beautiful. Colors moved inside it like rainbows. "What is it?" Daeho whispered. Ji-woo stepped closer. Her hand shook as she scanned it. "I don't know, but it's alive. There's something inside." They stood there for a long time watching the egg. Then Ji-woo made a call on her radio. "Tae-sung, I need a team at the North Temple. We found something important." Captain Tae-sung arrived with other scientists. They carefully moved the egg to the colony's research center. Everyone wanted to see it. The egg was placed in a special room with soft lights and warm air. For 3 days, nothing happened. Scientists watched the egg all the time. They took pictures and measurements. Daeho visited every day after his lessons. He pressed his small hand against the glass wall that separated him from the egg. On the 4th day, the egg began to crack. Daeho was there when it happened. He had come with his father, Minho, who worked as an engineer. The boy watched as thin lines appeared on the egg's surface. Then pieces of shell fell away. A creature pushed out from inside. It was small, about the size of a cat. Its body was covered in scales that changed colors in the light. It had 4 legs, a long tail, and 2 wings folded against its back. Its eyes were large and golden, like the sun. The creature looked around the room. It made a sound, a soft chirping noise. Then it saw all the scientists watching through the glass. It moved backwards and curled into a ball. "It's scared," Daeho said. Ji-woo nodded. "It just hatched." Everything is new and strange. The scientists tried to help the creature. They brought food and water, but the creature wouldn't eat. It wouldn't drink. It just sat in the corner, making sad sounds. Days passed. The creature grew weaker. Its scales lost their bright colors. It barely moved. "We're losing it," said Hee-rin, another scientist. "I don't understand. We've given it everything it needs." Ji-woo looked through the old alien records they had translated. "Wait," she said. "Look at this. These creatures, the Velhari, they lived in groups. The young ones needed others around them. But we're here," said Tae-sung. "Why isn't that enough?" "Maybe it needs its own kind," Ji-woo said quietly. "And there are no others left." Daeho heard this and felt sad. He knew what it was like to feel alone. The colony was small. There were only 5 other children, and they were all much older than him. He had no one to play with most days. That night, Daeho couldn't sleep. He thought about the lonely creature. He got out of bed and found his mother in her office. "Mom, can I see it?" "The dragon?" Ji-woo looked tired. "Daeho, it's late. Please, just for a minute." Something in his voice made her agree. They walked to the research center together. The building was quiet. Only one scientist was on duty, and she let them in. Daeho stood in front of the glass. The creature lay on its side, breathing slowly. "It looks so sad. Can I go inside?" Daeho asked. "What? No, that's not safe," Ji-woo said. "Please. I just want to try something." Ji-woo looked at her son, then at the dying creature. She made a decision. "Okay, but I'm coming with you." They put on special suits and went through the door. The creature didn't move when they entered. Daeho walked slowly across the room. He sat down on the floor near the creature, but not too close. Then he took out a small ball from his pocket. It was red and bouncy. He rolled it gently across the floor. The ball bumped against the creature's nose. One golden eye opened. It looked at the ball. Then it looked at Daeho. Daeho smiled. "Want to play?" He rolled the ball again. This time the creature watched it roll. Its tail twitched slightly. Daeho rolled the ball once more. The creature lifted its head. Then slowly it pushed the ball back with its nose. The boy laughed. "You do want to play?" For the next hour they rolled the ball back and forth. The creature sat up. Its scales began to shimmer with color again. It made happy chirping sounds. Jiwoo watched with tears in her eyes. She understood now. The creature didn't just need food and water. It needed friendship. It needed to play. When it was time to leave, the creature tried to follow Daeho. It pressed against the glass door, making sad sounds. "I'll come back tomorrow," Daeho promised. "We can play more." The creature seemed to understand. It settled down, but its eyes stayed on the boy. From that day on, Daeho visited every morning and every evening. He brought toys and games. He taught the creature how to play hide-and-seek, how to chase bubbles, how to stack blocks. The creature grew stronger. It ate its food. It drank water. Its scales shone brightly. The scientists were amazed. They had tried everything, but a simple child playing simple games had saved the creature's life. Tae-sung stood with Jiwoo, watching Daeho and the creature play catch with a soft ball. "What should we call it?" he asked. Jiwoo smiled. "That's up to Daeho. He's the one who saved it." That evening, Daeho thought hard about a name. When he visited the creature, he said, "I'll call you Biol. It means star. Because you shine like one." Biol chirped happily and jumped around the room. The lonely hatchling wasn't lonely anymore. It had found a friend who understood the most important thing in the universe. Everyone needs someone to play with. 3 weeks passed since Biol hatched. The creature changed every day. It grew bigger and stronger. Now it was as large as a big dog. Its wings stretched wider and its tail was long and graceful. Daeho spent every free moment with Biol. His father, Minho, worried sometimes. "Is this safe?" he asked Jiwoo. "That thing is getting very large." Jiwoo watched her son laugh as Biol gently pushed a ball with its nose. "Look at them, Minho. Biol is careful with Daeho. It understands he's small and soft." It was true. Biol moved differently around the boy. When they played, the creature was always gentle. If its tail swung too close, Biol pulled it back quickly. When Biol jumped, it landed far from where Daeho stood. One day, Hyarin made an important discovery. She was reading through more old Velhari records. She called everyone to a meeting. "Listen to this," she said. "Velhari hatchlings need social play for their brains to grow properly. Without play, their minds cannot develop. They become sick and die." Everyone was quiet. Then Tae-sung spoke. "So Daeho didn't just make Biol happy. He saved its life by playing with it." "Yes," Hyarin said. "The Velhari were very social creatures. Their young needed constant interaction through games and play. That's how they learned about the world." Jiwoo thought about this. "So every time Daeho plays with Biol, he's helping its brain grow?" "Exactly. And there's more." Hyarin showed them another document. "The games have to be complex and creative. Simple feeding isn't enough. The hatchling needs imagination, challenges, and fun." Daeho understood this without being told. He created new games every day. He taught Biol to play tag, running around the large room while Biol chased him carefully. He built towers with blocks, and Biol learned to build them too, using its mouth and claws. One morning, something amazing happened. Daeho brought colored scarves to play with. He threw one in the air, and before it could fall, the scarf stopped. It just floated in the air. Everyone stared. Then the scarf moved, dancing through the air like a bird. Biol sat on the floor, watching it with bright eyes. The creature was making it move with its mind. "Telekinesis," whispered Sangmin, a scientist who studied alien abilities. "Biol has telekinetic powers." Daeho clapped his hands. "That's so cool. Can you move more things?" Biol chirped. Suddenly all the balls in the room lifted into the air. They floated around like bubbles. Daeho laughed and jumped, trying to catch them. From that day, the games became more interesting. Biol created floating obstacle courses for Daeho to run through. It lifted the boy gently into the air so he could touch the ceiling. It made toys dance and spin. But Biol only used these powers during play. It never used them in anger or fear. The creature seemed to understand that power was for fun, not for harm. As weeks turned into months, Biol grew even larger. Now it was the size of a small car. The research room became too small. Tae-sung ordered a bigger space built with high ceilings and plenty of room. Minho still worried. "What if it accidentally hurt someone?" he asked his wife. Jiwoo shook her head. "Biol is smart, Minho. Very smart. Watch them together. One day, Daiho brought pictures he had drawn. He showed them to Biol. "This is you," he said, pointing to a drawing of a dragon with rainbow scales. Biol looked at the picture for a long time. Then something wonderful happened. The creature picked up a stick with its mouth. It dragged the stick through the sand on the floor. Slowly, carefully, it drew a picture too. The picture showed two figures. One was tall with wings and a tail. The other was small and round. They stood close together. "That's us," Daiho said. "You and me," Biol chirped happily. From then on, they drew pictures together. Biol learned to hold pens with telekinesis. Its pictures got better and better. One evening, Daiho came to visit after dinner. He looked sad. He sat down and didn't want to play. Biol noticed immediately. The creature came close and laid its head on the boy's lap. It made a soft, questioning sound. "I had a bad day," Daiho said. "The older kids said I was too little to play their games. They said I should play with babies instead." Biol listened. Then it did something it had never done before. It made sounds, but these sounds were different. They were trying to be words. Friend, Biol said slowly. The voice was deep and rumbling like distant thunder. Daiho's eyes went wide. "You can talk?" Biol tried again. "Friend, Daiho, friend." The boy hugged the creature's large head. "Yes, we're friends. Best friends." From that day, Biol learned to speak human words. It was hard at first. The creature's mouth wasn't made for human language. But Biol was smart and determined. Soon it could say simple sentences. Like this game, Biol would say. "Daiho teach new game?" It would ask. The scientists were amazed. No one knew Velhari could learn other languages. But then again, no one knew much about Velhari at all. Then came the day that changed everything. A solar storm hit the planet. The colony's shields protected most of the settlement, but the research center was on the edge. The shields there flickered and failed. Dangerous radiation started to pour in. Alarms rang loudly. Scientists ran to evacuate, but Daiho was in the room with Biol. The heavy doors locked automatically to contain the radiation. "Daiho!" Jiwoo screamed, running to the window. Inside, the boy looked scared. He could feel the heat. The lights were too bright, hurting his eyes. Biol stood up. The creature had grown large, now the size of a small truck. It spread its wings wide. Then something glowed around Biol's body. A soft blue light surrounded it. The light expanded, creating a bubble around both Biol and Daiho. The harsh light from the storm couldn't pass through. The heat stopped at the barrier. Daiho stood inside the protective bubble, completely safe. Biol stood over him, wings spread, creating a shield with powers no one knew it had. Engineers worked frantically to fix the shields. It took 20 minutes. The whole time, Biol held the barrier, protecting its friend. When the shields came back on and the doors opened, Jiwoo ran inside. She grabbed her son and held him tight. Minho was right behind her, tears on his face. Biol collapsed, exhausted. The barrier disappeared. The creature breathed heavily, its scales dim. Daiho pulled away from his mother. "Biol." He ran to his friend. "Are you okay?" The creature opened one eye. "Friend, safe?" "Yes, I'm safe. Because of you." Daiho hugged Biol's large head. Taesung stood at the door, staring. "That creature just saved your son's life. It created an energy shield we didn't know was possible." Sangmin checked his instruments. "The power it used. It's incredible. That barrier could have protected a whole building." Everyone looked at Biol with new understanding. This wasn't just a lonely hatchling that needed to play. This was a powerful being that could do extraordinary things. But to Daiho, Biol was still just his friend. And that's all that mattered. That night, Minho talked with his wife. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "That creature loves our son. It would die to protect him." Jiwoo nodded. They saved each other. Daiho saved Biol from loneliness. Biol saved Daiho from danger. That's what real friendship is. Outside in the large new room, Biol slept with Daiho curled up against its warm side. The boy's parents had agreed he could stay for one night. In sleep, Biol's scales glowed softly in many colors. The creature dreamed of games and laughter, of floating scarves and drawing pictures, of having a friend when there was no one else in the universe like it. The lonely hatchling had learned something important. Sometimes the best friend doesn't have to be the same as you. Sometimes the best friend is just someone who wants to play. 6 months passed. Biol continued to grow. Now the creature was as large as a spaceship shuttle. Its wings could spread wide enough to cover a house. When it walked, the ground shook slightly. The colony built a special area just for Biol. It had high walls and an open roof so the creature could see the sky. But Biol spent most of the time in one corner, the place where Deho visited. The boy came every day, just like always. They still played games together. But now Deho was 7 years old and he noticed things he didn't notice before. Sometimes when they weren't playing, Biol looked sad. The creature would stare at the sky for hours. Its scales would turn gray and dull. It made sounds that seemed like crying. "What's wrong?" Deho would ask. Biol would look at him and try to smile. "Nothing wrong. Play now?" But Deho knew his friend was hiding something. Sangmin spent weeks translating more Velhari records. One day he called an emergency meeting. His face was pale and worried. "I found something," he said. "Something bad." Everyone gathered around. Jiwoo held Deho's hand. The boy had been allowed to come because this was about Biol. "Velhari hatchlings need other Velhari," Sangmin explained. "We knew this. But I found more details. Playing with other species can help them survive as babies. But to become adults, they need their own kind." "What happens if they don't have their own kind?" asked Taesung. Sangmin looked at the floor. "They enter something called the gray sleep. Their bodies shut down slowly. They become sadder and sadder until they stop eating, stop moving, and eventually die." The room was silent. Then Deho spoke. "How long?" "What?" Sangmin asked. "How long does Biol have?" Sangmin sighed. "The records say it starts around 1 year of age. Biol is 6 months old now." Deho felt like he couldn't breathe. He ran from the room. His parents called after him, but he didn't stop. He ran all the way to Biol's area. The creature was lying down, watching clouds move across the sky. When Biol saw Deho crying, it stood up immediately. "Deho sad?" "Why sad?" The boy hugged his friend's large leg. "They say you're going to die. They say you need other Velhari, but there aren't any." "I don't want you to die." Biol was quiet for a long moment. Then it lowered its head to be close to Deho. "I know," the creature said softly. "I feel it. Empty inside, like missing something important." "What does it feel like?" Deho asked, wiping his tears. Biol thought about how to explain. Like you are only person in world. No one else exists. Very quiet, very lonely. Even when you are here, I feel it. Deep inside." Deho sat down hard on the ground. "There has to be something we can do." "Maybe no thing to do," Biol said. "This is how life is. I am last one. Last Velhari." But Deho refused to accept this. He spent every day trying to make Biol happier. He invented new games. He told jokes. He brought music for them to listen to. He taught Biol everything about humans. Biol learned quickly. The creature could now speak human language very well. It understood jokes and stories. It liked music, especially songs with drums. It learned to read by looking at books with Deho. "Tell me about humans," Biol would say. So Deho did. He told Biol about Earth, the planet where humans came from. He explained about different countries and cultures. He taught Biol Korean words and songs his grandmother taught him. Biol listened to everything with great interest. "Humans very different from each other," it said one day. "Same species but many different ways to live. That's what makes us interesting," Deho said. "Velhari not like this," Biol explained. "All Velhari similar. We have same thoughts, same feelings. Easy to understand each other. But isn't that boring?" Deho asked. Biol tilted its head. "I not know. Never think about it before." The creature paused. "You are small human, but you think in big ways, surprising ways. Always new ideas. This is very different from Velhari." This gave Deho hope. Maybe being different wasn't bad. Maybe it could help somehow. Then the pirates came. 3 ships appeared in orbit one night. They demanded the colony give them valuable equipment. The terraforming machines could be sold for lots of money on illegal markets. Taesung refused. "This is a peaceful research colony. We have families here. Leave us alone." The pirates laughed. "We don't care about your families. Give us what we want or we'll take it by force." They sent down armed soldiers in small ships, 20 rough-looking people with guns and angry faces. They marched into the colony center, pushing people aside. Minho and other engineers tried to stop them. There was fighting. People got hurt. Deho watched from a window with his mother. He was scared. Then he thought of Biol. The boy ran before Jiwoo could stop him. He ran to Biol's area. The creature was restless, pacing back and forth. It could hear the noise from the colony center. Biol, Deho shouted. Bad people are hurting everyone. We need help. Biol's eyes changed. They became bright and fierce. People hurt Deho family? Yes. They have guns and they're mean and… Biol didn't wait to hear more. The creature spread its wings and jumped into the air. With powerful beats, it flew toward the colony center. The pirates saw something huge coming at them from the sky. They looked up and their faces went pale. Biol landed in front of them with a massive thud. The ground cracked under its weight. The creature stood at full height, taller than the buildings around them. Its scales flashed with angry red and orange colors. You hurt people, Biol said, its voice like thunder. Leave now. One pirate, braver or stupider than the others, fired his gun. The energy bolt hit Biol's chest. It did nothing. The scales were too strong, Biol roared. The sound was so loud that windows shook. Then the creature used its telekinesis. All the pirates' guns flew from their hands. The weapons crushed together into a ball of metal. I say leave, Biol repeated. Leave or I make you leave. The pirates ran. They scrambled back to their ships as fast as they could. Within minutes, all three ships fled into space. The colonists cheered. They were saved. But Biol didn't look happy. The creature walked slowly back to its area. Deho followed, worried about his friend. Biol, are you okay? The creature lay down heavily. I hurt people. They were bad people. They were going to hurt us. Still hurt them. Made them scared. Very scared. Biol's scales turned dark blue, the color of sadness. I am supposed to protect. Supposed to help. Not supposed to make fear. Deho sat next to his friend. You did protect. You protected all of us, but violence… Biol struggled to explain. Velhari not violent. We are helpers, guardians. My people protected young ones, taught them, played with them. Never hurt anyone, but I hurt those people today. You didn't really hurt them, Deho said. You just scared them away. In Velhari way, fear is hurting. Making someone afraid is making them suffer. Biol closed its eyes. I feel bad. Feel wrong inside. For days after, Biol was quiet. The creature didn't want to play. It barely ate. The gray sadness that Sangmin had warned about seemed to grow stronger. Deho tried everything. He told jokes, brought toys, sang songs. Nothing worked. One night he sat with Biol under the stars. I wish I knew how to help you, he said quietly. You helped me when I was lonely. You saved me from the radiation. You protected everyone from the pirates. I want to save you too. Biol opened one eye. You already saved me, small friend. When I hatched, I was alone in universe. You gave me reason to live. Games and laughing and friendship. This is gift. Big gift. But it's not enough, is it? Deho asked. You're still sad deep down. Yes, Biol admitted. I am grateful for you. Love you like… The creature didn't have words for what it felt, but part of me always empty. Missing other Velhari. Missing home I never had. Deho leaned against his friend's warm side. Then we'll find a way to fill that empty part. I promised, but he didn't know how. And time was running out. 2 weeks after the pirate attack, a ship arrived from Earth. It brought Dr. Sujin, a famous scientist who studied how different species could understand each other. She had heard about Biol and wanted to see the last Velhari. Sujin was a small woman with kind eyes. She carried many instruments and notebooks. The first thing she did was sit down on the ground in front of Biol and smile. Hello, she said simply. I've heard wonderful things about you. Biol looked at her carefully. The creature could sense people's feelings, and it felt no fear or greed from this woman. Only curiosity and respect. Hello, Biol replied. You come far to see me? Yes, very far. Because what you and Deho have done is special. No one has ever seen a Velhari and human become friends before. Only one Velhari left, Biol said sadly. Just me, Sujin nodded. She had read all the reports. She knew about the gray sleep that was coming for Biol. I want to help, she said. May I spend time with you? Learn about you? Biol agreed. For the next week, Sujin watched the creature and Deho play together. She took notes on everything. How they communicated. How they played. How they understood each other without words sometimes. She also noticed how Biol grew sad when playtime ended. How the creature stared at nothing with gray scales. How it barely ate anymore. One evening, Sujin called a meeting with all the scientists and Deho's parents. The boy was allowed to come too. I have an idea, Sujin said. It might sound strange, but please listen. Everyone waited. The Velhari needed other Velhari because their species is very similar to each other. They all think alike, feel alike, play alike. A hatchling needs that variety of interaction to develop properly. But Biol only has humans, Taesung said. And we're different from Velhari. Exactly, Sujin said with excitement. But here's my thought. What if humans can provide even more variety than Velhari could? Jiwoo leaned forward. What do you mean? Think about it. Velhari were all similar, but humans were incredibly different from each other. Different cultures, different languages, different ways of playing and thinking. What if one Velhari hatchling doesn't need many Velhari? What if it needs many different kinds of interactions? What if humanity's diversity could give Biol everything it needs? The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. You mean bring more humans to play with Biol? Daeho asked. Yes, not to replace you, Sujin said quickly, but to add to what you've started. Different people with different games, different stories, different ways of seeing the world. It's just a theory, Sangmin said. We don't know if it will work. No, Sujin agreed. But doing nothing means Biol will die. I think we should try. Everyone agreed. They started bringing other colonists to meet Biol, adults and children, people from different countries who had come to work on the colony. At first, Biol was nervous. The creature stayed close to Daeho, unsure about all these new people. But slowly things changed. Yoonji was a girl who loved music. She brought her drum and showed Biol different rhythms. The creature learned to tap its tail in time with the beats. Soon they were making music together, Yoonji on her drum and Biol tapping complex patterns. Wonsik was a boy who liked strategy games. He taught Biol how to play chess. The creature learned quickly and created its own version of the game using telekinesis, moving pieces through the air. Nari was the daughter of a pilot. She told Biol stories about flying between stars, about nebulas and black holes and distant worlds. Biol listened with wonder, its scales glowing bright with excitement. Each person brought something new. Some brought art, some brought sports, some brought stories, some just brought quiet company, sitting with Biol and enjoying peaceful moments. Biol started to change. The gray sadness didn't go away completely, but it got smaller. The creature's scales showed more colors. It ate better. It seemed more alive. It's working, Jiwoo said with relief. But Daeho felt something strange in his chest, something he didn't like. His friend was happy, which should make him happy too. But instead he felt angry, sad? He didn't know the right word. One day Yoonji was teaching Biol a song when Daeho arrived. The boy watched them laugh together. Biol's scales were bright pink and yellow, colors of joy. Hi, Daeho, Yoonji called. Come learn this song with us. But Daeho shook his head. I have to go, homework. He left quickly even though he had no homework. This happened more often. Daeho would come to visit, see Biol with other people and leave. He told himself he was busy. He had lessons to do, books to read, but the truth was he felt replaced. Jiwoo noticed her son was sad. What's wrong? She asked one evening. Nothing, Daeho said. You haven't been visiting Biol as much. Biol has other friends now. Doesn't need me, Jiwoo understood immediately. She sat down next to her son. You feel jealous. Daeho looked at his feet. Maybe. That's okay, his mother said. That's a normal feeling. But you need to talk to Biol about it. What if Biol doesn't care anymore? What if I'm not special? There's only one way to find out, Jiwoo said gently. That night, Daeho walked to Biol's area. It was late. Everyone else had gone home. The creature was alone looking at the stars. Biol, the boy called quietly. The creature's head whipped around. Daeho, you come. Biol stood up quickly and walked over. I miss you. You not visit much now? You've been busy with other people. Yes, other people nice. Teach me many things, but... Biol lowered its head to look at Daeho directly. Not same as you. Really? Daeho asked in a small voice. Really? Yoonji teach music. Wonsik teach games. Nari tell stories. All good things. But you are first. You are one who saved me when no one else could. You are one who saw a lonely hatchling and decided to befriend. Not because someone told you to. Not because it was your job. Because you wanted to. Biol gently touched its nose to Daeho's chest. In here I keep special place. Just for you. That never changes. Never goes away. Other people make life bigger. But you make life worth living. Daeho felt tears come to his eyes. I was scared I wasn't important anymore. Always important. Most important. You are my first friend. That means something special. Biol paused, then added, You know how you love your mom and dad most? Even though you have other people you like? That how I feel about you? You are my person. The boy hugged his friend's large head. I'm sorry I stayed away. Is okay. Understanding now. You were scared. But no need to be scared. My heart big enough for many friends. But you always have biggest place. From that day, Daeho visited every day again. He played with Biol, and he didn't mind when other people were there too. Sometimes they all played together, which was even more fun. Sujin watched all of this and made notes. Her theory was working. Biol was thriving with all the different kinds of interactions from different humans. One day she tested Biol's development. She measured brain activity, physical health, and emotional responses. She called another meeting to share her findings. It's remarkable, she said. Biol is developing normally. Maybe even better than normally. The variety of human interaction is giving Biol's mind everything it needs to grow. So the gray sleep won't happen? Minho asked. I believe we've stopped it, Sujin said with a smile. Biol is getting the social diversity that Velhari hatchlings need. It's just coming from humans instead of other Velhari. There was celebration in the colony that night. They had saved Biol. The lonely hatchling would live. Daeho sat with his friend under the stars. You're going to be okay, he said happily. Yes, Biol agreed. Because of humans. Because of you. Humans are strange and surprising. All different. All special. This is good thing. The creature looked at the boy with wisdom in its golden eyes. I think my people chose well when they helped other species long ago. We saw something important. Every species has own gift to give. Human gift is diversity. Many types of human, many ways to live, many ways to play. This saved me. Daeho didn't fully understand, but he felt happy. His friend would live. That was all that mattered. Above them, stars shone bright in the alien sky, and for the first time since hatching, Biol felt complete. 1 year had passed since Biol hatched. The creature was now enormous, as large as a building. Its wings could create winds strong enough to bend trees. Its scales shimmered with every color imaginable, changing with its moods and thoughts. But size wasn't the only change. Biol had become wise. The creature understood complex ideas. It spoke several human languages. It could read books, play music, and create beautiful art with its telekinesis. Most importantly, Biol was happy. The gray sleep never came. The creature was surrounded by friends, by games, by laughter. Daeho was now 8 years old. He still visited every day, but he was in school more often now. He had learned to share his friend with others, and he didn't mind anymore. In fact, he was proud. He was the one who started it all. One morning, Daeho arrived to find Biol sitting very still with eyes closed. The creature had been like this for hours, said Wonsik, who was waiting nearby. Is Biol okay? Daeho asked, worried. Wonsik shrugged. I don't know. It just sat down and stopped moving. Daeho walked closer. Biol, what's wrong? The creature's eyes opened. They glowed brighter than ever before, like golden suns. When Biol spoke, its voice sounded different, deeper, more powerful. Nothing wrong. Everything right. Understanding now. Understanding what? Biol stood up slowly. I remember. My people's memories. All of them. Passed down through generations. Inside me all along, waiting until I was ready. The creature looked at Daeho with ancient eyes. The Velhari were guardians, not just protectors, uplifters. We helped young species grow and learn. We played with children of many worlds. Through play, we taught them important things. How to solve problems. How to imagine. How to be kind. Why through play? Daeho asked. Because play is how young minds grow best. No pressure, no fear. Just joy and discovery. My people understood this. We traveled to many worlds, finding species that were just starting to learn about the universe. We played with their children. Helped them develop creativity and wisdom. Biol lowered its head to be close to Daeho. You did this for me. Now I understand why it worked. You played with me the way my ancestors played with others. You saved me by doing what Velhari are meant to do. But backwards. Over the next few days, Biol changed. The creature seemed to have purpose now. It asked Sujin many questions about human development, about how children learn and grow. I want to help, Biol said. Like my ancestors helped others. I want to be guardian for humans. What does that mean? Sujin asked. Mean I protect. I teach. I play. This is what I am born to do. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Late one night, alarms blared across the colony. In space, a massive asteroid was heading toward the planet. It had broken off from a larger rock and was now on a collision course. The colony's defense systems could destroy small rocks, but this one was too big. If it hit, it would destroy everything. Tae-sung called an emergency meeting. "We need to evacuate. Get everyone to the ships." But there wasn't enough time. The asteroid would hit in 2 hours. The evacuation would take 3. Daeho heard his parents talking in worried voices. He ran to find Biol. The creature was already outside looking up at the sky. It could see the asteroid, a dark spot growing larger. "Biol, there's a big rock coming. It's going to hit us." "I know," Biol said calmly. "I will stop it." "How?" "Watch." Biol spread its wings and launched into the air. The creature flew higher and higher up through the clouds, up toward space. Everyone in the colony came out to watch. They saw Biol's shape getting smaller as it rose. Then they saw the asteroid, a massive rock falling toward them. Biol reached the asteroid and landed on it. The creature pressed its claws into the rock's surface. Then it began to glow. The glow got brighter and brighter until it was hard to look at. The asteroid slowed down. It stopped falling. Then slowly it changed direction. Biol was pushing it with telekinesis, but not just pushing it away. The creature was controlling exactly where it went. The asteroid moved to a safe orbit around the planet. Then something beautiful happened. The rock began to break apart, but not in a dangerous way. Biol was carefully separating it into thousands of small pieces. The pieces spread out in space, catching sunlight. They sparkled like diamonds, like stars, like a river of light in the sky. The colonists watched in amazement as the deadly asteroid became a beautiful light show. Children pointed and laughed. Adults cried with relief and joy. Biol flew back down to the colony. The creature landed gently in front of Daeho. "Rock is gone," Biol said, "but I made it pretty instead of just destroying it. Wanted children to have something nice to remember, something to make them smile, not have bad dreams. This was what a guardian did. Protected, yes, but also turned fear into wonder. Made danger into beauty." News of what Biol did spread across the galaxy. Other colonies heard about the Velari who saved humans, about the creature that played with children and protected them. Requests came from everywhere. Could Biol visit other human colonies? Could the creature help teach their children too? Sujin discussed this with Biol. "You could help so many people, but it would mean traveling, being away from here sometimes." Biol thought about this. "I want to help, but not want to leave Daeho." The boy heard this. "You should go," he said, even though it hurt to say it. "Other kids need a friend too. Kids who feel lonely like we did. You understand?" "Yes, because you taught me that friends help each other grow. This is how you need to grow now." They made a plan. Biol would build a special place, a sanctuary where children from many human worlds could come to visit. They could play, learn, and grow. Biol would teach them games and stories. The creature would help them develop creativity and kindness. The sanctuary was built near the colony, in a beautiful valley with rivers and trees. There were places to run and climb, fields to play in, quiet spots to sit and think. Children started coming from other colonies. They arrived on ships with their families. Each child stayed for 1 month. Playing and learning with Biol. Daeho became Biol's helper. When new children arrived and felt scared of the huge dragon, Daeho would talk to them. "I was scared too at first," he would say. "But Biol is the nicest friend you'll ever have. Just try playing 1 game. You'll see." He was always right. Within hours, the children would be laughing and playing with Biol. They learned games from each other. They made art together. They told stories and sang songs. Some children came because they were sad or lonely. Some came because they were sick and needed something to hope for. Some came just because they wanted an adventure. All of them left happier than when they arrived. One day, a little girl arrived who wouldn't talk. Her name was Yuna. She had seen bad things in her short life and had stopped speaking. No one could get Yuna to play or smile. She just sat quietly, looking at nothing. Daeho tried. Wonsik tried. Even Yunji with her music couldn't reach her. Then Biol approached. The creature didn't try to make Yuna play. Instead, Biol just sat nearby. The creature hummed softly, a gentle sound like wind through trees. After an hour, Yuna looked at Biol. Then she stood up and walked over. She put her small hand on Biol's leg. The creature moved very slowly and gently. It lowered its head until it was level with Yuna. Then Biol made a small ball of light appear, just floating in the air. The ball bounced gently. It changed colors. It did little dances. Yuna watched. Then for the first time in months she smiled. By the end of her month, Yuna was talking again. She laughed and played with other children. Her parents cried happy tears when they came to take her home. "Thank you," her mother said to Biol. "You gave us our daughter back." Biol bowed its great head. "All children deserve to play. Play heals. Play teaches. Play is important." Years passed. Daeho grew into a teenager, then a young man. He studied to become a teacher, inspired by his friend. He learned how to help children learn through games and joy, just like Biol did. The sanctuary became famous across human space. Parents brought their children from hundreds of worlds. The lonely, the sad, the scared, the sick, all came to play with the last Velhari, and Biol was never lonely again. Every day brought new friends. Every day brought new games, new stories, new laughter. One evening, Daeho sat with Biol watching the sunset. He was now 18 years old, about to leave for university. "I'll miss visiting every day," he said. "I will miss you too," Biol replied. "But you need to grow. Need to learn, so you can help more children in your way. Did you ever think when you hatched that life would be like this?" Biol was quiet for a moment. "When I hatched, I felt alone. Only one left. Thought I would die lonely." The creature looked at Daeho with warm eyes. But Small Boy came. Rolled ball to me. Asked me to play. That boy saved my life. Not with medicine. Not with machines. With kindness and play. "You saved mine too," Daeho said. "I was lonely too, remember?" "Yes, we saved each other." Biol spread one wing over Daeho like a protective blanket. "Now we save others. Help them not be lonely. This is good work." Important work in the valley below. Children played in the last light of day. Their laughter rose up like music. Human children and one Velhari guardian, all playing together. Loneliness had been defeated, not with weapons or technology, but with the simple power of friendship and play. The lonely hatchling had found its purpose. It was a guardian, an uplifter, a teacher, and it all started because one little boy,